Hear a name so many times, you forget there was once a time they were nobody? Ryan Gosling. Now that name sounds like velvet and movie magic, doesn't it? But let me tell you something. Long before the red carpets, golden statues, and late-night talk show charm, Ryan was just a scrappy little kid from Canada. Yep, not LA, not New York. Canada, the land of maple syrup, moose, and endless apologies. He was born in London, 1980. But don't let London fool ya. This wasn't some posh British backdrop with fog and cobblestone. No, this London had Tim Hortons on every block and a wind that'd slap the teeth right out of your mouth in January. Ryan's parents weren't famous. His dad was a traveling salesman, the kind of guy who could probably sell snow to a snowman. His mom worked as a secretary, the kind who always knew when her kid was hiding something just by the way he blinked. But things got rough early on. His parents split when he was a kid, and that hits a boy hard. You start to feel like the world's got cracks in places it shouldn't. Now, Ryan wasn't your straight A, front row, apple for the teacher type of kid. In fact, he struggled, ADHD, trouble focusing, and let's be honest, a bit of a rebel streak. I mean, legend has it he once brought steak knives to school because he saw Rambo and figured, that looks useful. Imagine being that teacher. Well, class, today we're learning fractions and also not getting stabbed. So his mom, bless her heart, pulled him out of school and homeschooled him for a while. And you know what? That might have been the first real miracle in his life. Because instead of feeling broken, he got a chance to rebuild. He'd watch movies, act out scenes, put on little shows with his sister Mandy. She was his first scene partner, his first audience. That basement, that living room, that was his first stage. But here's where things really start rolling. And I swear, this part sounds like a fairy tale written by Disney, which is funny cause, well, Ryan lands an audition for the Mickey Mouse Club. Yeah, that Mickey Mouse Club, the one that launched Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera. A star factory, basically. Now picture this, 12-year-old Ryan Gosling, wide-eyed, slick-haired, marching into that audition room full of American charm and a thick Canadian accent. Most kids get nervous. Ryan? Confidence like a pro. Sings When a Man Loves a Woman. Because sure, why not channel Percy Sledge when you're barely out of elementary school? Somehow, against all odds and despite being the only Canadian boy on set, he makes the cut. Boom. He's Mouseketeer material now. But wait, here's the twist. Even though he was surrounded by future megastars, Ryan felt like the odd one out. Justin Timberlake's mom even became his legal guardian for a while, since his own mom had to go back to work in Canada. Picture that dynamic. Little Ryan, living in the Timberlake household, eating Cheerios at the same table as the future Prince of Pop. He once joked that he was like a little brother Justin never wanted. Thing is, even on that show, Ryan wasn't the polished, spotlight-loving type. He was funny, quirky, kinda weird. The kid who'd do Michael Jackson impressions one minute and then go brooding in the corner like a tiny James Dean the next. He wasn't there to be cute. He was there to act. And after the show got canned, cause of course it did, all good things end. He could have faded out. Could have become another child star footnote. But Ryan? No sir. He didn't fade. He shifted gears. He went hunting for something deeper. Something raw. The boy wanted to feel. And man, wait until you hear what came next. After Mickey Mouse packed up and went home, Ryan found himself in a weird place. He wasn't a star yet, not really. He had some fans, sure, mostly preteens with Lisa Frank folders, but he wasn't on magazine covers. He was too intense for Nickelodeon, too unknown for Hollywood. He was in that no man's land of almost famous, where dreams go to get stuck. But instead of letting the silence swallow him, he started taking every role he could find. Canadian TV? You bet. Kids' horror shows? Absolutely. Are you dark? Goosebumps. If there was fog, a flashlight, and something vaguely cursed, Ryan was probably in it. Somewhere out there, a VHS tape exists of him looking terrified of a haunted sponge. Yes, really, a sponge. Then came a weird one, young Hercules. It was like Hercules, but, well, younger, and with a lot more leather. Picture Ryan, in New Zealand, swinging swords and spouting ancient Greek one-liners in a wig that looked like it lost a fight with a tumbleweed. But he was working. He was learning. He was grinding. While other guys his age were in frat houses playing beer pong, Ryan was in a trailer, memorizing monologues and trying not to trip over his own sandals. But here's the thing about Gosling. He didn't just want to act. He wanted to transform, to disappear into characters. So when he got offered the lead in a small indie movie called The Believer, where he'd play a Jewish neo-Nazi struggling with his identity, he took it. And folks, let me tell you, this is the moment everything shifted. The movie was raw, dark, uncomfortable. And Ryan? He was electric. People in the industry suddenly stopped saying, "Wasn't he that Hercules kid?" and started saying, "Who is this guy?" Critics couldn't stop talking about him. He played hate and vulnerability in the same breath. You could tell he wasn't there to be a pretty face, he wanted to punch you in the soul. But just as quickly as the buzz built, he vanished again, not into obscurity this time, but into the weird, winding path of indie films and character studies. While his peers were chasing rom-coms and superhero scripts, Ryan was doing films about murder, addiction, and dolls. Yes, dolls. We'll get to that. But first, Murder by Numbers, a 2002 psychological thriller with Sandra Bullock. They played detectives. Sparks flew on screen and off. For a little while, they dated. He was 22, she was 38. And the media went nuts. What's he doing with her? They asked. But those who knew him weren't surprised. Ryan wasn't a frat boy chasing tabloid fame. He liked older women, deeper conversations. An old soul in a young man's body, the kind who'd quote Dostoevsky while eating cereal. But then came the big one. The movie that turned him from actor into icon. You know it. I know it. Your mom knows it. The Notebook. Now, funny thing about The Notebook, Ryan didn't want to do it at first. He thought it was too sappy. But the director, Nick Cassavetes, looked at him and said, "You're perfect. You're not like the other actors in Hollywood. You're just a guy." And that's exactly what the role needed. He played Noah, the dirt under his fingernails, build a house with his bare hands, love you forever even if you forget me type. And Rachel McAdams? She was Allie, fiery and beautiful and stubborn. And folks, they did not get along at first. Like, yelling in rehearsals levels of not getting along. At one point, Ryan even asked the director to bring in another actress. But here's the plot twist, that off-screen fire? It turned into chemistry. Real chemistry. After filming ended, they fell in love. For real. And when The Notebook dropped, boom. Overnight, Ryan became the romantic lead. Women swooned. Men took notes. The rain scene alone caused a nationwide shortage of handkerchiefs. And the internet? Forget it. If you're a bird, I'm a bird, became a love language. But Ryan didn't stick to the safe path. Nope. He took that heartthrob status and went weird with it. Which brings us to Lars and the Real Girl. You ready for this? So, picture this. Ryan Gosling, riding high off The Notebook, adored by every magazine cover and talk show host, decides to take a sharp left turn straight into Lars and the Real Girl. Now if you've never seen it, let me paint the picture. Ryan plays Lars, a painfully shy man who orders a life-size sex doll off the internet, but not for what you think. No, Lars treats this doll, Bianca, like a real person. He introduces her to his brother. He tucks her into bed. He talks to her about his day. It's not creepy. It's not played for laughs. It's touching. It's weird. It's magical. And the kicker? Gosling plays it completely straight. No winks to the camera. No smugness. Just raw, aching sincerity. The man acts his heart out opposite a plastic woman and somehow makes you cry. That's talent. That's Ryan. Hollywood didn't know what to do with it. Critics praised it. Award shows nodded in respect. But mainstream audiences were like, wait, what happened to the rain-soaked kissing guy? And Ryan? He didn't care. He never did. You see, by now, he'd figured something out. If you chase fame, it runs. But if you chase honesty, truth, the art, sometimes it brings you somewhere real. And that's where he was headed. Which brings us to Blue Valentine. Now let me warn you, this movie hurts. It's not your cute date night flick. It's love in reverse. It's joy that sours. It's two people falling out of love so slowly, you don't even notice until it's gone. Ryan plays Dean, a house painter with a tender heart and a tragic inability to grow. Michelle Williams plays Cindy, his wife, trying to hold it all together. They shot the happy scenes first, dancing in the street, singing silly songs, falling in love. Then the director made them take a break. For a month. During the time, Ryan and Michelle lived in a house together. Not as a couple. Just as parents. They grocery shopped, did laundry, took care of a kid, fought about nothing. So when the cameras rolled again, for the breakup scenes, the exhaustion, the tension, the heartbreak, it was real. You felt the years pressed down on them like gravity. It was the kind of performance that leaves bruises. And just like that, Ryan got his first Oscar nom. But did he celebrate with glitz and glamour? No. He went and started a band. Yep, an indie rock band called Dead Man's Bones. Him and his friend Zach Shields, writing spooky love songs with a children's choir, singing about ghosts and graveyards. Because of course he did. And because he's Ryan freaking Gosling, it was good. He performed in Halloween costumes. played the theremin. The theremin, people. That's the instrument that makes ghost noises in 1950s sci-fi movies. Who does that? But Ryan wasn't done being weird. Oh no. He was just getting warmed up. Next came Drive. And let me tell you, this movie changed the game. He plays an unnamed stunt driver by day, getaway driver by night. Barely speaks. Wears a scorpion jacket. Beats up bad guys in elevators. The whole thing plays like a dream, slow, moody, dripping with neon and blood. It's the kind of film where every silence is louder than a scream. And Gosling? He turns in a performance so ice-cold, so magnetic, it makes Clint Eastwood look chatty. He follows that up with The Ides of March, playing a political campaign manager caught in a web of lies. And Crazy, Stupid, Love, where he gets to be smooth, funny, and devastatingly handsome all at once. The man takes his shirt off and Emma Stone literally forgets how to speak. Can't blame her. By now, Ryan isn't just a star. He's a unicorn. The guy who can do anything. Romantic dramas, moody thrillers, offbeat comedies. He flips through genres like pages in a magazine. But while Hollywood worshipped him, Ryan stayed. Ryan. No scandals. No ego. No walking out of interviews because someone forgot to bring him green M&Ms. He kept his life quiet. Private. Real. And then, in the middle of all that noise, he meets someone. On the set of The Place Beyond the Pines. Her name? Eva Mendes. And oh, buddy, that's when the story gets real interesting. So let's talk about The Place Beyond the Pines, a gritty, poetic film where Gosling plays Luke, a motorcycle stuntman who turns to bank robbing disorder. It's got tattoos, adrenaline, and a thick layer of regret. But behind the scenes, something softer bloomed. Enter Eva Mendes. They shared scenes, shared silence, and, as it turns out, shared a kind of chemistry that doesn't need a script. Now Ryan, he'd been linked to co-stars before, but this felt different. There were no tabloid tantrums, no public displays of drama. Just two people quietly falling for each other behind the lens of a beautifully melancholic film. They never made a big announcement. They didn't need to. Suddenly, Ryan was spotted at Disneyland holding Eva's hand, buying groceries with her, looking like some guy named Dave who fixes guitars and knows 5 different ways to brew coffee. He wasn't playing the heartthrob anymore. He was just living. And then something extraordinary happened. They had a daughter, Esmeralda, and then another, Amada. And with that, Ryan Gosling, the face on posters and the king of brooding stares, pulled off the most unexpected move of his career. He vanished. No red carpets. No award shows. No scandalous headlines. He stepped away, quietly, to change diapers and chase giggles and figure out the art of putting a baby to sleep without accidentally waking her up 10 minutes later. A skill harder than acting opposite a plastic doll, mind you. People asked, where's Gosling? Paparazzi combed Los Feliz. The tabloids went dry. But he was just at home, in love with his family, building a life. He said later that becoming a dad made him feel like he finally had a compass. Like everything before had been wandering, and now, he had a true north. But of course, the storyteller in him couldn't stay quiet forever. And when he returned, he didn't just come back. He danced back in La La Land. Now listen, you either love this movie or you cry through it while pretending you don't love it. There's no in-between. It's a love letter to dreamers. A jazz-soaked, pastel-drenched fantasy grounded in heartbreak. And Ryan? He plays Sebastian, a pianist with a chip on his shoulder and a dream of opening his own club where people actually listen to the music. And here's the kicker. Ryan didn't fake it. He learned to play the piano. For real. No hand doubles. No CGI wizardry. Just him, for 3 hours a day, every day, tickling those ivories until his fingers bled jazz. Reuniting with Emma Stone was a stroke of brilliance. The two lit up the screen with their banter, their longing, their waltz among the stars. And that ending? That gut punch of a what could have been. Gosling played it with eyes that held 1,000 unsaid things. No words. Just music. Just loss. Just love. La La Land blew up. Golden Globes. Oscar nominations. Standing ovations. And Gosling remained grounded. He thanked Eva. He talked about the sacrifices she made so he could pursue the role. He spoke like a man who knew how lucky he was, not just for the career, but for the life. And if anyone doubted whether Ryan still had it, Blade Runner 2049 answered that real fast. A towering sci-fi epic where he barely speaks, yet somehow makes you feel every flicker of doubt behind those tired eyes. He was a synthetic man searching for meaning, and somehow made it deeply, painfully human. Ryan Gosling had become something rare in Hollywood, a mystery in plain sight. You saw his face everywhere, but you never felt like you knew him. He didn't let the world in, he let the work speak. And just when you thought he might go quiet again, he showed up somewhere, pink. So, very pink. You ready? Next comes Barbie, and oh, baby, it's Ken's time to shine.